Mount Everest, the world's highest mountain. Every year, hundreds of climbers, both professional and amateur, successfully reach the top. At any one time in the climbing season, there are over 1,000 people making the attempt. Behind virtually every endeavor lies the support and expertise of the Sherpas, the unsung heroes of the mountain. They guide, carry the equipment, prepare the routes, and rescue climbers who get into difficulty, every day risking their own lives so that others can claim the glory. Without them, only the hardiest and most skilled mountaineers would succeed. This is their story. Kathmandu, Nepal. Its chaotic streets couldn't be more different to the tranquil Sherpa villages high in the mountains. It is the home of Nima, who hopes to give his children a better future in this overcrowded city. Purba comes from a remote forest village in the Makalu region. Lukla, the hub of Himalayan tourism, is the home of Nima Tenji. Gelu Sherpa is less typical. He spends the peak climbing season in the Himalayas, but seeks work in Austria and Germany during the summer and winter months. It's spring, 2011. The four Sherpas have been hired by Theo Fritsche, an extreme climber from Austria, and Jochen Hemleb, an alpine historian from Germany, to take part in an international expedition up Everest. To prepare for the ascent of Everest, the team sets out through the villages of Nepal's Solukhumbu district. Everything must be carried on foot. Purba, Nima Tenji, Nima and Gelu are not the only Nepalese who are needed. A whole team of guides and porters, over a dozen strong, carry the heavy equipment required for the expedition's ascent of Everest. And it's been this way since the very first attempts to climb the mountain. In 1922, the first ever expedition to make a full-scale attempt to climb Everest was made by the British, among them George Mallory. Of the 160 men who made up the team, only 13 were British. Mallory was caught in an avalanche on the North Col. 7 of his Sherpas were killed, the first ever recorded deaths on Mount Everest. Two years later, the team tried again. This time, with Mallory was Oxford student Andrew Irvine. On June the 6th, Mallory and Irvine set off with 5 Sherpas. The Sherpas all returned safely, but Mallory and Irvine vanished. Whether they reached the top 29 years before Hillary and Norgay has been the subject of heated debate ever since. To try and establish the pair's fate, In 1999, an international expedition set out to locate their bodies. Among them was Jochen Hemleb. On the very first day, a mummified body was found on a steep slope. It had to be Irvine or Mallory. A clothes tag brought certainty.
Here, wait, this is George Mallory. Really? George Mallory. Oh my God. See that? George Mallory. Oh my God.
The search continued, but the team were unable to locate Irvine's body. In 2010, another expedition launched the search for Andrew Irvine. It was led by Theo Fritsche, a highly experienced mountaineer who has climbed 5 of the 14 8,000-meter peaks. And once again, alpine historian Jochen Hemleb.
Many believe that Mallory and Irvine were unable to overcome the most difficult part of their route, the so-called second step, a 40-meter face at 8,600 meters. However, our expedition member Theo Fritsche climbed that passage solo, without rope, in 2001. He thinks that this must have also been possible for Mallory and Irvine.
Fritsche wanted to establish whether Mallory and Irvine could have reached the summit with only the equipment that was available at the time.
In 2001, I approached Everest in simple clothing, with just an emergency down jacket in my pack and no additional oxygen. I wanted to climb the mountain with fair means. From what I know today, Mallory or Irvine, at least one of them, may have been on the summit.
Zumindest einer von diesen auf dem Gipfel gewesen sein kann.
The 2010 expedition failed due to bad weather. Now, just 1 year later, Theo Fritsche and Jochen Hemleb are taking another shot. And it is for this reason that they have hired Pabba, Nima Tenji, Nima and Gelu. The 4 Sherpas will search for Irvine's body near Everest's peak. The history of the Sherpa people on the south side of the Himalayas goes back some 500 years. The literal meaning of Sherpa is the people from the east. A nomadic people, 4 different groups migrated from the highlands of Tibet into today's Nepal, where they settled at the foot of these 7,000 and 8,000-meter mountains. The precise reason for the Sherpas' migration is unclear, but according to oral tradition, they set out in search of the mythical Shangri-La. The vast majority of the Sherpas practice Tibetan Buddhism. To reach enlightenment, some choose to become monks and enter monasteries, where they take vows to refrain from worldly pleasures. Twice a day, the conch horn calls the monks of Nepal's famous Tengboka monastery to puja, an act of devotion in which offerings are made to Buddha and religious texts chanted. Young boys enter the monastic community at the age of 5 or 6. They will live a life of abstinence and austerity and spend many hours in meditation. Eventually, these novices hope for spiritual illumination or nirvana. The Sherpa word for Everest is Komolungma, goddess mother of the world. So many choose to live high in the mountains above 3,000 meters, as close to the seat of the gods as possible. And for them, hard work in the fields is their perpetual high-altitude training. Sherpas breathe more